This is my case study presentation for EDU 311. My student I worked with, his name is Kaysen. A little background information about him. He is a first grade student and he is 6 years old. He lives with two very supportive parents, both his mom and dad, and I actually got to meet them for when they came for a parent-teacher conference. He recently has a newborn baby sister at home, and as of now he has no medical or health issues. Some strengths that Kaysen has in math are he's very good at addition facts up to 10. A little trouble with number recognition, but up to 10 he's good. He has strengths when he does addition story problems, and then when he writes equations at the end of each story problem, he does very good with his sentence equations. Some social strengths that he has, he's very outgoing, and he has a lot of friends in the classroom, so he's very kind. He's a very kind student. Some personal interests, he loves sports. He's always talking about sports. He loves Alabama football, and he also plays baseball. He also loves animals. Some academic and behavior challenges that he has. As far as behavior challenges go, he really doesn't have any. He displays a great attitude towards school and everyone around him. He follows directions. He has great manners when he's told what to do. So most of his challenges are academic. As far as academic challenges in reading, this is his main area of weakness. He struggles with decoding words, identifying sight words, and reading words automatically. A lot of the time when he's reading, when he has a word, he focuses on sounding each letter out. So this hinders his ability to comprehend what he reads. Therefore, when he's reading each word, he takes so long with sounding it out that it hinders the comprehension. He also has difficulty with fluency because he's sounding each word out. His fluency rate isn't very where it needs to be. Also, he has trouble with spelling, phonics skills, and word building. When we're working with vowel patterns, he kind of gets confused on when it's too many vowels together. Like when we start talking about the bossy E, he kind of gets confused, and so that hinders his ability to read also. Some of his academic history, he's currently not receiving RTI. However, he is barely above the grade point average, so if he drops a few more points, he would be referred to RTI, which my cooperating teacher thinks that's where he needs to be, just so he can get that extra additional help. Aside from us working with him in the classroom, he can get that extra pull for intervention. But the teacher currently is using different strategies to work with Kaysen, and I also use different strategies in reading group, small group. So we're hoping these strategies will help him before having to be put in RTI. He also, Kaysen worked with a tutor last year in kindergarten. His mom said that he struggled with reading all throughout kindergarten as well. So he's had a tutor, and he is currently working with a reading tutor twice a week now. So hoping that the reading tutor will be an additional source to help him. When I observed Kaysen for the ecological observations, I observed him in the classroom, library, and cafeteria. When I observed Kaysen in the classroom, he was very well behaved on the whole group carpet for reading. He struggles during reading small group, but this is where the main intervention comes in with the teacher. But often during reading group, he will listen to other students around him. Like if we're doing review flashcards for sight words, he will often be very hesitant when he says words. So he'll wait to see what his peer says, and then he'll just repeat the word. Therefore, during reading small group, he really doesn't learn as much because he's listening to his peers. That's why one-on-one instruction with him is a lot better in his situation. Also, I observed him in the library. He was searching for a new library book, and he was very hesitant at which section to look for his level in because he couldn't read the signs on the bookshelves. So he needed additional assistance when searching for a library book. When I observed him in the cafeteria, He displays typical behavior for a first grader. He likes to sit with his friends at lunch. He's a very happy child. He loves to sit by the teacher, and he loves to eat with his friends. Some of Kason's social strengths, like I've mentioned before, he's very good with his peers. He's very social. In class, he is a little talkative at his table, but he has a great attitude in the classroom. I've noticed that his peers love playing with him at PE. They associate Kason with sports because he loves sports so much. So at PE, this is a really great time for him to socialize with his peers. However, according to my sociogram that I did, he was not chosen by other students as often as I thought he would. I feel like he's very social, so I felt that I thought he would have been chosen more, but he wasn't. For my effective interventions, I did a math 3D shapes lesson, and then I did a reading lesson, and I incorporated some interventions for both of these lessons. For the 3D shapes, during large group, I did the like certain characteristics of 3D shapes, and then with him, after it was over, I would have to just occasionally walk to his table when they were manipulating the shapes. And then when we were grouping the shapes into different categories, I paired Kason with a higher functioning student. That way he could have that kind of partner support. And I think this accommodation did work very well. Also, I did an intervention with Kason during reading. After whole group, we move into small group while everyone's going to centers. So at the small group table, we work on our phonics skills and blending words. For Kason, I really focus in on fewer words per day because it helps him to just work on blending a few rather than the whole list. So in accommodation, I focused on just doing a few words rather than the 10. I focused on 5 words so that he could master those sounds before moving on to additional words. And also, I would review sight words from kindergarten. He still has trouble a little bit with his kindergarten review sight words. So each day, that accommodation of just throwing in those extra words, I think really helps him. And for did they work? Did these accommodations work? I think that Kason works really hard to do his best. And for the math and reading, I feel like the accommodations he did do very well, and they were needed for him. When he was working with a peer, I think that this benefited him having that buddy support when he was practicing his recognition skills for the 3D shapes. Then for reading, during the small group, blending fewer words, I feel like really helped him to concentrate on them and not be overwhelmed by too many words. For a cooperative learning group with Kason, early on in the year I did an apple experiment, and this was where students were working together. So in the cooperative learning group, I paired Kason with a group that was higher functioning so that he could have that peer support again. I think that this cooperative learning group was very good for him. The outcome was really great. He was able to work well with his group to get the task completed for the apple experiment. So I think this task was very good for him in this cooperative learning. What I learned from Kason. Throughout my whole time working with him, one of the most important things I learned is that when a student has an area of academic struggle, it doesn't mean that this student will not be successful. Everyone goes through struggles, and I think that if we focus too much on the struggle, it hinders the student's ability to succeed. Also, from my time working with Kason, I noticed so much progress with him, and that really makes you feel good. When you're working with someone for so long, you like to see that progress in that area where he's growing, and I really do feel like he is a stronger reader now from when we first started working together. I also learned that patience is key. When working with a struggling student, you want to have patience because this is new to them. In first grade, they're just they haven't mastered reading yet, so having the patience to work with him, I think, is a real good key point to remember. I'm so glad that I was able to have the opportunity to work with Kason. I really learned so much from him, and I'm so excited of where he's at today.